Hello and welcome to Crypto News. Today is the 12th of April, 2025, and the top news for crypto is as follows. Let's start typically from our states, where everyone wants Bitcoin. We'll begin with a bill from North Carolina that basically proposes allowing tax payments using cryptocurrencies. But beyond North Carolina, we'll also go to New York, where there is a bill that proposes the legalization of Bitcoin and crypto for use in state payments. But not only Bitcoin, the bill refers to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash being used for state payments, but may mandate an additional state service fee for these transactions. In addition to this bill, there's also another bill in New York that proposes the inspection of blockchain for the security of election files. Something that, as we know, blockchain specializes in, especially with digital identities on the blockchain. So it is certain that there will be no strange numbers in election results. Of course, we are talking about research. It is too far to see it in reality. However, these are steps in the right direction. Continuing with our states, we will also go to the state of Arizona, where the Bitcoin mining bill has entered the governor's office for final signature. This bill protects Bitcoin miners and those who run Bitcoin nodes, and basically says that no one has the right to tell them that they can't do it and protects them legally. And from America, we will slowly move to Europe, where a Swedish MP has proposed that his country have a reserve in Bitcoin and has submitted this proposal to the Ministry of Finance. There are no further details on how much or when this might happen. However, Europe is probably slowly starting to wake up as it sees that all of America wants Bitcoin as a reserve. And from our countries, it's time to move on to our ETFs. We'll go to the BlackRock ETF, which saw $3 billion in inflows in the first quarter of 2025. However, these inflows are 83% less than the fourth quarter, which we also see reflected in the spot Bitcoin ETF inflows. For this reason, I've stopped mentioning them in the episodes because the numbers are no longer that important. Now, we'll move on to our companies. We'll go to Grayscale, which revealed 40 altcoins for the second quarter, calling them assets under review. In fact, we're referring to this list here on your right. All the cryptocurrencies you see with an asterisk are new to the list, and Grayscale thinks it can create a product with them, an ETF or a spot ETF. If that happens, it's probably good for their price. Moving on, we'll move on to our memecoins, specifically the President of the United States memecoin, which is down 14% over the 7-day chart. For that, we learned that it is set to unlock $321 million worth of vested tokens on April 18th. And since we're talking about the Trump family, we can't help but mention his wife, Mrs. Melania, where we learn, based on blockchain analysis, that the group quietly sold $30 million in Melania memecoin. And as I said, the group has not announced anything about this move. Mrs. Melania's memecoin is down 13% right now as I'm recording this episode. And since we're on memecoins, we can't help but mention Pump.fun, where we learned that they've opened up their live streaming service to everyone. About a week ago in an episode, we said that 5% of the Pump.fun audience was allowed to live stream with stricter rules. Now they've opened it up to everyone, and if we go to Pump.fun itself, we'll see that there's an option to watch live, but I don't click on it because I'm afraid of what I'll see inside. And if things inside are embarrassing enough, it means that Pump.fun will see more of an audience on its platform. And let's just say that Pump.fun is starting to become quite well known, because in a new episode of Black Mirror, there's a guy who does increasingly dangerous things to make money. And basically, this episode is about Pump.fun with a platform called Dumb Dummies. So we, from the Pump.fun that is becoming increasingly well known, will go to the cryptocurrency market where the price is at $83,000 as we see. And we learned that China increased tariffs on the US by 125%, apparently as a countermeasure. So we are waiting for the possible response of Trump and the other countries to this tariff war. That wraps up the top news for crypto. Today is the 12th of April, 2025. I'd like to remind you that the content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.